जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गंधर्व गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट महाभगवत श्रील गौर किशोरदास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौड़ीय गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कोरमंडल व्रजमंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्रील भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भजन-rahasya की जय। जय श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोसाई पाद गोविंदा-līlāmṛta की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Okay, let's do the Mangala Charan. Where is it? अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धांत सरस्वती विदितो कोडिया गुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने योगोर संकीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलो दरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवनिमान् कृष्ण प्रेम सुदाब्दिकाहन सुखं प्रादात् प्रभुं तं भजे। वन्दे भक्ति विनोदं श्री गौरशक्ति स्वरूपकं भक्तिशास्त्रज्ञ सम्राजन् राधारस सुधानिधिं नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते श्री चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वृषभानुसुतान् वितवामतनुं यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतं मुरलीकलगीतविनोरपरं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुम् स्मर गौरगदाधरकेलिकलं भव गौरगदाधरपाक्षचर शृणु गौरगदाधरचारुकथं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुम् तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय देवी त्वं नायमां चरणान्तिकम् भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताश्चकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे श्रीस्वरूपराय सङ्गहर्षशेषघोषणं शिक्षणाष्टकाख्य कृष्णकीर्तनैकपोषणं प्रेम नाम मात्र विश्वजीवनैकसंभरं प्रेमधाम देवमेव नौमि गौरसुन्दरं प्रेमोर्भावितहर्षैर्योद्वेगधन्यार्तिमिश्रितम् लपिताङ्गुरचन्द्रस्य भाग्यवद्भिर्निषेव्यते प्रभुर्शिक्षाष्टकश्लोक जय पोरे शुने कृष्णे प्रेम भक्ति तार बारे दिने दिने शिक्षाष्टक चिंता करो स्मरण कीर्तन क्रमे अष्टकाल सेवा हबे उद्दीपान सकल अनर्थ जावे पावे प्रेम धन चतुर्वर्ग फल्गु प्राय हबे अदर्शन Whoever reads or hears the Lord's Shikshashtaka verses will find their prem bhakti to Krishna growing more and more each day. Contemplate the Shikshashtaka and engage in smaran and kirtan. Gradually, service throughout the 8 divisions of the day, the Ashtakala Seva, will be awakened. All anarthas will disappear, and you will attain the treasure of divine love, prem dhan. The 4 aims of worldly life will appear trivial and fade from view. Okay, now let's recite the Shikshashtaka. One second, let me just find it first. Cheto-darpanamarjanam bhavamahātavagni-nirvapanam Shreya-kairava-chandrika-vitaranam Vidyavado-jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam Purnamrita-swadanam Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smarane Nakala Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Medrishamiha Janina Nuraga Trinarapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मने जन्मनीश्वरे भवतार्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पारपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तया नयनं गलरश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया sorry वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकार्निचितं वपुकदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रवृशायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे अश्लीषवापाररतं विनष्टु मां दर्शनान्मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परा मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परा जय श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranams Champak Mataji Rukmini Didi Chatamai Didi Chatamai Mataji and let's see I see Raseshwari Mataji is there and I don't know who else is there. I see there are 4 devotees there. So, Dandavat Pranams. All right. Also, pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jayadev Prabhu, Revati Didi. So today, I just arrived back in Mayapur yesterday evening, and yeah, still a bit tired and getting myself situated, but yeah, today I thought we could look over the verse by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Govinda-līlāmṛta. So as we know, this Bhajana-rahasya is here. Let's just look at this chart again. So Bhajana-rahasya is very showing how Śikṣāṣṭakam is everything. Everything is contained within Śikṣāṣṭaka. Even all of Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa's pastimes are throughout the 8 periods of day are contained within Śikṣāṣṭaka. What does Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur say in that song? I mean, let me just find that. Where was that? Let's see. I think it would be Projects Śikṣāṣṭakam. Oops, it's the wrong way. Okay, yeah, let's look at this. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, first he gives this verse, tam nirbhyajam bhajagunanitim. Yeah, so sorry, I'm a bit spaced out right now. But so Śikṣāṣṭakam is for it. Sorry, Bhajana-rahasya is for those sadhaks who have not yet achieved rati. They're ajata rati sadhak. They haven't attained the stage of bhav yet. So they're going through the process, shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana, kriya, nartana, vritti, nishta, ruchiya, sakti, like that. And it's also for those in whom rati, this bhav, has taken birth, has awakened, jata rati sadhak. So for an ajata rati sadhak, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gave this verse here. Tam nirvyajam bhajagunanidhim pavanam pavananam Shraddha rajan matiratitaram uttama shlokamolim prodyan anta karanakuhare hantayan nama bhanor abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. So this is a verse by Srila Rupa Goswami. Actually, I think he's quoting from Padma Puran, and it's quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1.103. And it states that Namabhas destroys all sins and liberates one from material existence. So he gives this verse right before Chaito-darpana-marjanam. And if you look on this chart, let's see the Bhajana-rahasya chart, it says, for the ajata-rati sadak, this time period of the day, Niśānta, that means by performing Nam Sankirtan with faith, ignorance is nullified, and his mirror-like heart is cleansed. So that is Chaito-darpana-marjanam, Niśānta. Nisha means night, anta means end, and so the night is representing ignorance for the sadak, for the ajata-rati sadak. And even this namabhas, nam is like the sun, right? Let's look at this verse. Nam is like the sun, right? Yan nama bhanu. Bhanu means the sun. And that sun of the holy name, as it begins to prodhyana, as it begins to arise within the antakarana, kuhare means in the caves of the antakarana of the heart, then the abhas, even that abhas, just the faintest dawn of that sun of the holy name, it will kshapayati, it will destroy mahapataka dvantarashim. It will destroy the greatest offenses, the most not offenses like sins, the most grievous, horrible like sins that have accumulated. Rashi means like heaps. It's been accumulating for unlimited lifetimes, these grievous, most horrible sins. And dvanta can mean darkness, and also means, darkness. So kshapayati, it eradicates the darkness of the mass of the greatest sins. Just the abhas, just the faintest dawn of that name, of that son of the name, Namapanu. And so that is for the ajata-rati sadak. That's what this Niśānta means for us. It's the ends of our ignorance. Now we're the sun of the holy names illuminating the heart. And now for Haribol Vidyalasa Didi and Ganga Mataji. And now for the Jata-rati sadak. What does it mean? Let's go back to the chart again. For the Jata-rati sadak, he remembers the pastimes in which Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa meet each other. Under the guidance of Śrī Rupa Manjari and other Vrajar-devis, he performs manasi seva to Radha Govinda and his internally conceived gopi form. And what is the specific meditation for that time of the day of Niśānta, the end of the night? So for those on the stage of Vrati, they are meditating on this pastime that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And remember, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that E Śikṣāṣṭake kohe Krishna-līlā kram. This Śikṣāṣṭaka tells of the sequence of Krishna's pastimes. Ihate bhajana-krame līlar udgam. In this Śikṣāṣṭakam, through the systematic practice of bhajan, līlar udgam, the Lord's pastimes awaken. So when we follow the Śikṣāṣṭakam properly, and we don't jump, we don't just all of a sudden go to Ashlisha, but we're following gradually, then eventually Krishna's pastimes will also gradually manifest. As we saw, this word kram comes 7 times within just these few verses here, or I think 10 verses. How many verses was it? I just want to count it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's 10 verses. 7 times in 10 verses, he says this word kram. So we have to do it gradually. Now, just one thing that I forgot to mention. Today, I just saw this right before we started the program. Shripad Bhakti Vedanta Acharya Maharaj, who is a senior disciple of our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he just left his body just maybe a few hours ago. I didn't know him so well, but I would see him every day. And he seemed totally fine. Like his health didn't seem, he was walking around and talking. I'd see him almost every day. I'd go to bring milk for Bhaktivedanta Shaman Maharaj, and I would usually leave my bike right outside of his room. And so I'd see him every morning. I'd offer pranam, and sometimes he'd say a little something to me, and then I'd go. And yeah, so it's quite a shock that he just all of a sudden left. Yeah, there aren't very many Param Gurudev disciples left around. But yeah, I don't know so much. I don't know. I don't have anything to say about him because I don't really know so much about him. I do know that he was very prominent. That's all I know. And that, like, I saw his name in the Gaudiya Patrika a bunch, like in the old Gaudiya Patrikas. And anyhow, I remember one time, like, when I was living in Keshaji Gaudiya Math not so long ago, he came one day to glorify Gurudev on his Vyaspura Day or Tirubhavti Day. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah. So, Jai, Akinchan Maharaj, sorry, Acharya Maharaj ki Jai. And Haribo and Hare Krishna Prabhu and Nri Hari Prabhu Bhavatarani Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay, so within the Shikṣāṣṭakam tells us, the Shikṣāṣṭakam tells us of the sequence of Krishna's pastimes. What is Krishna's, Haribo Rohini Nandan Prabhu. So now, what is Krishna's pastimes? In the first verse, this Niśānta. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he gives us a, one second, I'm just opening it up on my computer. It's like a sutra. Oops, that's not it. I'm just opening up the file. I have way too many windows open. Let me just close some windows. Sorry, guys. Okay. Oh, and something I found out. Oh, yeah. So, the verse was missing a word, like a very important word, and so it wasn't making sense before. But now I found that out. And this is like a dhyana shloka. At the very last word of this verse by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and his Govinda-līlāmṛta, I think it's verse 10 from the beginning of the book. The very last word says smarami. So it's a meditation verse. And yeah, it describes Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa's Niśānta-līlā, the end of the night. And it's like a sutra. So it's just, sutra means a tip of a thread, right? And so from that tip of the thread, when you pull on it, then it will unravel a whole bundle, tons of thread. And so it's just giving the slightest indication of the pastime, and those jatarati sadhaks, those sadhaks in whom bhav has awakened in their heart, they will be, this is like, yeah, it's they'll be meditating on the pastime deeply, all the details and everything like that, just from this sutra. And so here, let me share my screen once again. I want to try to understand the meaning of all the words here. I found a commentary, like I found a translation on this website, anushilan.in. There's a book called the Dasha Shloki. It's the 10 essential verses from Śrī Govinda-līlāmṛta. And I need to find out more about this. Okay, so says that Śrī Rādhā Das Goswami Pad, he wrote a commentary on Śrī Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad's Śrī Govinda-līlāmṛta in the middle or later portion of the 17th century. It is likely the first commentarial work on Śrī Govinda-līlāmṛta. I'll make this bigger so you can see. I just discovered this like right before we went live. Yeah, I'm just making this big so you can read it with me. So Radha Krishna Das Goswami Pad was a great grand disciple of Śrī Gadadhar Pandit. He served as the chief Sevite of the Śrī Govinda-devī deity established by Śrīla Rupa Goswami Pad. That is, as the Mahanta of the later built Śrī Govinda-ji Mandir, following the tenure of his guru, Śrī Haridas Pandit. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad highly praises Śrī Haridas Pandit and Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita as an authority and luminary in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya during his era in Sri Vrindavan Dham. He also states that Śrī Haridas Pandit instructed him to compose a work describing Sriman Mahaprabhu's Shesh Leela, the final pastimes of Mahaprabhu, and that it was in adherence to this instruction that he composed Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah, I remember reading that, right? It's in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. That. So then, in the Dash Shloki Bhashyam, Śrī Rādhā-Kṛṣṇa Das Goswami Pad comments on 10 verses from Śrī Govinda-līlāmṛta, specifically verses 3, 4, from chapter 1, verses 3, 4, 10. 10 is the verse that we're going over today. And then chapter 2, verses 1, chapter 5, verse 1, 8, 1, 19, 1, 21, 21, 1, and 22, 1. So these are the 10 verses that he goes over. The first of these verses presents the Anubandhan Chatushtay of the composition. Interesting. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is okay. So I haven't read this yet, actually, because I just saw this. So the first, okay, look at this. So the first of these verses represents the, I don't know what Anubandhan Chatushtay mean, of the composition. The second succinctly summarizes Govinda's Ashtakaliya Leela, and the remaining 8 verses summarize in further detail the Leelas during each of the 8 phases of the day. These 10 verses, known as the Dasha Shloki, thus constitute a complete overview of the entirety of Śrī Govinda-līlāmṛta. Regarding the authorship of these 10 verses, some are of the opinion that they are composed by Śrī Rupa Goswami Pad. And in many present-day publications, a composition entitled Smarana Mangala Stotram can be found, which is attributed to Śrī Rupa Goswami Pad, made up of these 10 verses, or slightly elongated variant form of them, wherein the final verse is expanded into 2. Anyways, that's all. I just wanted to see that. So on this website, he gives this verse. Let me just find it. There it is. So this translation is actually really helpful because it's very literal. And so I was able to, well, I haven't actually looked at the translation carefully yet, but I thought maybe today we can just try to figure out what the meaning of all the Sanskrit words are here. Because the 2 commentaries that we read, sorry, the 2 translations that we read yesterday, one from Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj and one from Srila Gurudev, weren't really translations, they were more commentaries. And so it was, but it's like really difficult to figure out what the meaning of the Sanskrit is from that. Okay, so let's recite it first. Oh, and also I found out that this word, hṛdyair, was missing from the Hindi edition of Bhajana-rahasya and our English edition of Bhajana-rahasya. And I was wondering, because it was a few syllables short on this line. But and then I did see it in the Bengali Bhajana-rahasya. But then I thought it was a mistake. But then I realized, no, wait, actually those are a few syllables missing. And so now we can recite it in the proper meter. So let's recite it together. And this is the same meter as Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavangscha. Rātryante trasta-vṛnderita bahu-viravair bodhitau kīraśārī padyair-hṛdyair ahṛdyair sukha. No, sorry, I messed up. Padyair-hṛdyair sukha-śayanād utthitau sakhībhiḥ. dṛṣṭau hṛṣṭau. Sorry. dṛṣṭau hṛṣṭau tada tvoditarati-lalitau kakkhaṭī-gīḥ Rādhā-kṛṣṇau satrishṇau api nija-nija-dhāmny āpta-talpau smarami. Okay, so we'll read this translation here and then we'll try to figure out the Sanskrit. So the translations on this website are they're like a bit too literal. So it's helpful for figuring out the Sanskrit, but it doesn't really always sound so nice. But okay. Awakened at the end of the night by the chirpings of numerous birds sent by the anxious Vṛndā. The two have arisen from their tranquil repose because of the pleasant and unpleasant verses recited by the parrots and mynas. Observed by the sakhīs, they are delighted and lovely by virtue of their rati at that time. Apprehensive because of the words of kakkhaṭī, although they are thirsting to remain with one another, they return to their beds and their respective abodes. I meditate on Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa at this time. Okay, so now, can you hear they're drilling just outside of the window here? I think, yeah, hopefully it's super loud for me, but hopefully it's the noise cancellation is blocking that out. If it's not, then I can try to go into another room. Just so you know. So I put this, as you saw, I'm not sure if you saw on my website, I made a thing, a prompt for breaking down verses so that it gives a little emoji for each word. And also it will explain the Sanskrit a bit, and it breaks it down pretty nicely. And so I thought we could use this also. I haven't looked at this myself. As always, whenever you're using any AI, like any of these AI things, you have to take whatever it says with a grain of salt. It very often makes mistakes. But I've read the Bengali translation quite a few times now, and I'm sort of familiar. So I think I can detect if it's saying something a bit off. Okay. So rātryante trasta-vṛnderita bahu-viravair bodhitau kīraśārī. So ratri ante. Ratri means night. Ante means at the end. So at the end of the night. So Niśānta, rātyante means the same thing. Nisha means night, ratri means night. So rātryante. So at the end of night, then trasta-vṛnderita, sent by an anxious Vṛndā. Trasta means anxious. Anxious Vṛndā, irita. Irita means it can mean recited, I think. I remember reading that before. Irita, but here it means sent. Prerna. The Bengali says prerna koriachilen, I think. So sent by an anxious Vṛndā. Who's sent by an anxious Vṛndā? Bahu-viravair. So all these birds are sent by Vṛndā-devī to awaken Rādhā-kṛṣṇa. And so then bahu means by the many, vi means birds, ravai means the sounds. So bahu-viravair, by the many sounds of the birds, bahu-viravair. Bodhitau. And this is in the dual case in Sanskrit. So the dual case refers to the two of them are awakened. Bodhitau. And then this last line goes along with the last two words goes along with line 2. So kīraśārī, kīra means parrots. Śrī means myna birds. Remember we were reading before about how the parrots, The parrots are, this is not right though, actually. It says male parrot and female parrot, but actually Kira means parrots, both male and female. And Sharika, Shari or Sharika means the myna birds. And the parrots are on Krishna's side, and the myna birds are on Radharani's side. Okay. So by the verses, this is the second line. By the verses of these parrots and myna birds, by the pleasant verses and by the unpleasant ones. And why are there pleasant and unpleasant verses? Well, the pleasant verses, the heart-pleasing verses, refers to verses that tell of their pastimes, of their glories, and like that. But the unpleasant ones are ones that remind them that they have to leave and like the impending separation. It's so hṛdyair and ahṛdyair. Okay, so I think all that goes together. So at the end of night, let's see. At night's end awakens by the many sounds of birds sent by an anxious Vṛndā. Okay, so that's the meaning. They have also arisen from their blissful sleep. Bodhitau means they have arisen, right? The two of them are awakened. From their blissful bed or repose. From their blissful lying down. So, sukha-śayanād. Utthitau, they have arisen. To, those two. And then sakhībhiḥ means by the sakhīs. dṛṣṭau, hṛṣṭau, tada tvoditarati-lalitau, kakkhaṭī-gīḥ. Interesting. Let's look at the commentary. Then I'll be able to understand because so anyways, I'll just try it right now and then we'll see if I got anything wrong. But okay, so that Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa, they're seen by the sakhīs. dṛṣṭau, hṛṣṭau. Hṛṣṭau means the joyful sakhīs, right? Actually, no. Let's look at the commentary because I'm not going to be able to get this right. I'm just going to be guessing. So let's. This is excerpts from the Dash-shloki Bhashya, written by that Radha-Kṛṣṇa Goswami, disciple of Haridas Pandit. Who was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. Okay. So now composing a sutra, the author describes with some elaboration of the Niśānta-līlā. Now composing a sutra, the author describes with some elaboration the Niśānta-līlā, the Lila during the last 6 dandas of the night. So rātryante to prakanto prasiddho va Rādhā-kṛṣṇau smaramitranvaya. I meditate on the two, to. That is the aforementioned or the renowned Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa at the end of night. Rātryante. This is the anvaya. Okay, so in this verse, where is the verse? Oh, I don't have the whole verse. Let's put the whole verse here just so that we can read it easily. Oh, do you want me to? Anyways, I'll do that later. Okay, so. One second. To remove that background. What the heck? No color. That's so weird. I don't want that. Sorry, let me just clear the formatting there. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. As you know, this is my study session, my public study session, so that's why I'm okay. Okay, so the word to here, that refers the two of them, Radha and Krishna. So smarami to, I remember them rātryante, at the end of night. Okay. This is the anvaya. This is the syntactic order. Okay. So how are the two? They have awakened, bodhitau. They have awakened by the chirpings, by the ravair, the sounds of birds. V means birds. Sent, irita, sent by the anxious, trasta, that is the fearful forest goddess named Vṛndā, as per her statements such as this in the Skanda Puran. So she says in the Skanda Puran, where in Vrindavan there are servants such as Vṛndā, who have great eagerness for serving Govinda. Oh, sorry. As per statements. Okay, so the Skanda Puran talks about Vṛndā-devī. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Where there are servants such as Vṛndā who have great eagerness for serving Govinda. Okay. So they have also arisen, utthitau, from their tranquil repose, sukha-śayanād, because of the verses, because of the padyair of parrots and maynas, kīra and śārī. How are those verses? Although pleasant to the heart, hṛdyair, they are also agitating to the minds. They are ahṛdyair, on account of being causes of apprehension, fear, and so forth, because of a break in such ras otherwise. That is, because apprehension, temporal limitations, and so forth are integral elements of the ras relished by Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa in the prime of their youth within padyair-hṛdyair, as being described here in Govinda-līlāmṛta. Okay, whatever. Okay, so it has both these words, bodhitau and utthitau. So first, they are bodhitau, they are awakened by the ravair, by the sounds, by the chirping of bahu-viravair, of many birds. And then, so initially they're just awakened by the birds that are Vṛndā-irita, that are sent by Vṛndā-devī. So they make lots of sounds, then bodhitau, they are awakened by that. And then kiраśārī, by the parrots and the myna birds, padyair, by the verses, which are hṛdyair, which are pleasing to the heart, and ahṛdyair, and which are not pleasant to the heart, api, even. Sukha-śayanād, now from their blissful, sukha means happy, blissful, śayanād means the blissful repose was the word. Also means like by their bed. Then utthitau, they have now arisen. At first they were awakened by the sounds of the birds, and now after hearing the verses, the pleasant and unpleasant verses of the kīra and śārī, now they have arisen, utthitau, sukha-śayanād, from their blissful sleeping bed, whatever. Okay. Now, let's see. Furthermore, how are the two? They are observed, dṛṣṭau, by the sakhīs, sakhībhiḥ, through the holes in the kuñja. We see that Seva Kunj painting of our that Shamarani Mataji made, which Gurudev had her make. We see in the backgrounds there are these sakhīs. Let's see the Seva Kunj painting. How do we see the Seva Kunj painting? Seva Kunj painting, bhakti art.net. I think it'll come up like that. Here it is. I think this is a pretty high-res version. Okay. There. So as you can see, dṛṣṭau, hṛṣṭau. There. It's not letting me zoom in. But as you can see, right behind Radharani's face there's dṛṣṭau, hṛṣṭau. Right there's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sakhīs are hidden in the background there, watching Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa. So that's dṛṣṭau, hṛṣṭau. And they're looking through the holes in the kuñja. This is the remainder to be supplied in formulating the full meaning of the verse. So they are also delighted, hṛṣṭau, that is, of pleased hearts. And they are also lovely. They're Lalita. Lalita means lovely. That is beautiful with a rati, meaning longing, priti, or desire, whatever. I don't think that's the right translation. That is again aroused. Sorry, I don't want to read. So by the sight of the loveliness of one another after intimate meeting as a result of stimulation of the utmost desire at that time. Tadatva means at that time. The stimulation of utmost desire, kama. Let's look at the Sanskrit now. Okay. So dṛṣṭau means they are seen, the two of them are seen, sakhībhiḥ, by the sakhīs. And hṛṣṭau, and they are both very happy, very blissful. Tadatva means at that time, udita, the rati that has arisen, and the lalito, the loveliness and the rati that has arisen at that time towards each other. They are happy. Let's see, what does it say here? Observed by their companions through the lattice work of the grove, they are joyful, they're hṛṣṭau. Their beauty enhanced as their loving desires are rekindled by the sight of one another. That's a bit of a commentary right there. Anyhow, this part I really want to become a lot more clear on. This is like really high and deep, and so we'll come back to this at some point. Then kakkhaṭī-gīḥ saśaṇko. Now saśaṇko, they are both, let's look at the commentary again. Okay, so they are also apprehensive because of kakkhaṭīs, that is an elderly female monkey named Kakkhaṭī, because of her words. She says, Jatila has come near. And we know Jatila. Jatila is the universally well-known name of Śrī Radhika's mother-in-law. And then we also read in my Gurudev's commentary that Jatila can refer, the rays of the sun are sometimes called jata. It's like dreadlocks. They're like the rays that are coming out like dreadlocks. And so it can also say the rays of the sun's arising. But yeah, so Kakkhaṭī says that. And so then Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa are saśaṇko. Shaṇko means the two of them become fearful. From the gī. The gī means what does gī mean? I think it means calling out. I mean, like by the cry are words. Gī means cry are words of Kakkhaṭī. So the elderly female monkey, Kakkhaṭī. It's a Vṛndā-devī. And she says, Jatila has come near. Okay. So now, also, although they are thirsting, although they are satrishna, that is, although they are desirous of remaining with one another, they have returned to their beds, āpta-talpau, in their respective abodes, nija-nija-dhāmny, that is, their own homes. Okay. Rādhā-kṛṣṇau satrishno, with longing, with thirst for each other. Api, even though they have so much longing and thirst to be with each other. Nija-nija-dhāmny, their own homes. Āpta-talpau, they have reached their own beds. And then smarami, I remember. Tau, those two. So now let's look at this. So Rādhā-kṛṣṇau, Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa, satrishnav api, even though they are both trishna, they're both thirsting, yearning for each other, longing for each other. Sa means with. even though they're both thirsting and longing for each other, nija-nija-dhāmny. So dham, we know the word dham means abode, and so nija-nija-dham, and dhamni makes it plural, so they're abodes. And then so within their own abodes, apta means prapta, means having reached or whatever, having attained their talpo. Talpa means beds, and talpo means their two beds. So they're individual two beds in their own abodes. So Srimati Radhika, she's gone back to Javat, in her home in Javat, and Krishna has gone back to his bed in Nandagaon. Smarami, I remember them. Okay, so now the words are becoming more clear. Only this part I need to figure out how to. The Rati and Lalita, the loveliness and Rati that has arisen tadatva at that time, something like that. But I don't know. I don't have a perfect translation for this yet. So now let's try to I'll try to explain it now, just from what I learned from our reading just now. So rātryante, so at the end of the night, trasta-vṛnderita bahu-viravair, by the sounds, by the ravai, by the chirping, the sounds of the bahu-vi, of the many vi means birds that are irita, that are sent by the trasta-vṛnda, by the anxious Vṛnda, bodhitau, so having awakens from that sounds of the birds, of the many birds that are sent by Vṛndā-devī, by the anxious Vṛndā-devī, and having arisen utthitau, from their sukha-śayanād, from their blissful reclining, their blissful bed, so having arisen after hearing the padyair, after hearing the verses of Kīra and Śrī, of the parrots and the myna birds, which are hṛdyair, which are pleasing, and which are ahṛdyair, which are not pleasing, because they're going to have to be separated from each other, and so it's pleasing, and it's also not pleasing. So to, those two, Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa, to means those two, sakhībhiḥ, by the sakhīs, dṛṣṭau, so they are seen by the sakhīs, like that, through the lattice, in the kunjas, they are there. Then it's that part I don't know how to translate yet, but they become, how did this person translate it? I just want to see this verse again. Okay, so he says, observed by the sakhīs, they are delighted and lovely by virtue of their rati at that time. So tadatva means at that time, and they are hṛṣṭau, they are delighted, and they are lovely. He translates Lalita as lovely by virtue of their rati at that time. Okay, whatever, that works good enough for now. But then, Shashanko, they are filled with fear by the crying, by the crying of the elderly female monkey kakkhaṭī, who says, Jatila has come, Jatila has come. So kakkhaṭī-gīḥ Shashanko. So Rādhā-kṛṣṇau, Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa, satrishna-vapi, even though they are both trishna, they are both thirsting for each other, yearning for each other. Nija-nija-dhāmny, in their each individual abodes, āpta-talpau, they have now reached their own beds in their individual abodes. Smarami, I remember them. Okay, so now it's kind of a lot more clear. Now that we've gone over it, let's just recite it, and then we'll end our program for today. So, rātryante trasta-vṛnderita bahu-viravair, bodhitau kīraśārī, padyair-hṛdyair, api sukha-śayanād, utthitau sakhībhiḥ, dṛṣṭau hṛṣṭau tada tvoditarati-lalitau kakkhaṭī-gīḥ saṣaṅkau Rādhā-kṛṣṇau satrishṇau api nija-nija-dhāmny āpta-talpau smārāmi. Okay, Jai. I'm really happy now I finally understand what this verse means kind of a bit more, at least the words of this verse. All right, so tomorrow tomorrow is a very important day. I think tomorrow is the appearance day of Srila Bhakti-Vigyan-Bharati Goswami Maharaj, right? Yeah, it's tomorrow. Oh no, is it on the 6th? Okay, tomorrow is Jagannath's return Rath, and it's Srila Bhakti Kamala Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day, so maybe we can read an article by him. And then the day after tomorrow, Srila Bhakti-Vigyan-Bharati Goswami Maharaj's appearance day, and also Shayana Kadashi. And also many people, devotees, begin their Chaturmas Vrat the day after tomorrow on that Shayana Kadashi. So that's a big day. Cool. All right, just do a quick Mahamantra and then we'll end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Yeah, thanks for sticking with me throughout that whole time trying to figure out the verse. I mean, ideally I should have done that on my own and then I could have explained it, but it's kind of fun being able to figure everything out, learn it with all of you. So I hope, yeah. And tomorrow, yeah, we will go over the verse now that I understand it a bit better. Now I'll be able to explain it more nicely. And we can also look at Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song based on that verse. Dekiya Arunodoy Vṛndā-devī Vyasta Hoy. That song. And then we will have completed chapter 1 of Bhajana-rahasya. So tomorrow will be our last day. Right? Jai Śrī Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Śrī Rādhā Vinod Vihari Ju Ki Jai, Śrī Govinda-Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai, Śrīla Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Śrī Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Svapārshat Śrī Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Śrī Rādhā-Kṛṣṇa Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai, Śrī Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Śrī Rādhā-Kṛṣṇa Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Bhajana-rahasya ki Jai, Jai Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai, Jai Shri Govinda-līlāmṛta ki Jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad ki Jai, Jai Shri Rupa Goswami ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Jai Shri Chaitanya Śikṣāṣṭaka ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. My dad's trying to call me. One sec. Okay, yeah. So we will tomorrow. Yeah, we'll go over the meaning of that verse. We'll look at Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's that song that he wrote, very short song, and also I think it'd be nice if we can reread now that we've understood the sense. It's something I really like doing. Once we understand the direct meaning of the Sanskrit of each word, and then we look at Gurudev's commentary, my Srila Gurudev's commentary, and also Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj's commentary, and it will be very clear what things are they bringing out, like what's extra that they're adding. Like it's nice to know what is the actual translation, and then what are the special extra things that they're giving us. So we'll look at their translations again tomorrow as well. All right, Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams, Niri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Anari Krishna Prabhu, Champak Mataji, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook. Who is there? Just opening up Restream. There. Haribo, Raseshwari Mataji, Vidyalala Sadidi, Ganga Mataji, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, and everybody else there. I see there are 8 devotees there watching on YouTube and Facebook. Sometimes not all the comments show up, so sorry if I missed somebody. And also I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there. And then also Sachi Devi, Jayadev Prabhu, Revati Didi, Dandavat Pranams. See you all tomorrow. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before we leave and before I end today's program?